Yeah, well, Prop here, and we've got something we're out by the TV, and that is because what we have is a controller. I've been playing some more, Kenna, was it Bridge of Spirits on the home theater PC, and being a PlayStation game, my nice custom yellow Xbox controller over there is not very good at it. So, what I have here is something that I've been trying to get for a number of years. Uh, you may be surprised at it. It is going to hopefully be brand new, legitimate PlayStation 3 DualShock 3 controller. And you're like, wait, you're trying to get an ancient controller? Yeah, because the DualShock 4 sucks comparatively. I'm sorry. And the new one for the PS5, even worse. They keep trying to make the PlayStation controller the Xbox controller. This is not a very one-handed knife, I'll admit. This is the new G-Slip, my new slicey boy. We're going to use this for opening it. If it looks like a steak knife to you, that's what I also thought, and that's part of the reason I bought it. I'm like, ooh, a folding steak knife. I just think it looks really nice. Apparently it's supposed to be really high quality, as long as the Chinese manufacturer isn't lying. But it is a Knife Center exclusive, so I would have thought they would have caught that beforehand. Did it opening that on the live stream. Don't want to stab my chair. Oh my god. That's fucking butter. This is off of eBay because I wasn't smart and got a new PlayStation I'm probably drunk. Or vomiting. One of the two, or both. Sorry if it looks choppy. I really do think we're supposed to be at 60 FPS, but on my screen it's just like. Does it look like you guys? Where it goes like ba 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 on a pan. Um, it said my phone was overheating, not when we started, but like before, and it was doing that when it was backing up from recording the video in the car. But it wasn't even hot to the touch, so I closed the app, reopened it, it was fine. I apologize if this video is utter shit, but I thought you would enjoy my experience of using a knife very safely. Moto safe. Oh, I only made it halfway through. Well, bollocks. Bollocks. You can carry this. Sharp enough to just. And I'll cut it. Be truthful, this is probably the sharpest standard knife that I've gotten stock. Maybe it's like VG10 steel or something, but I've resharpened my own knife and a bunch of other stuff in the past, but dang, I really jam that in there. Okay. So, obviously, you're like, there's no way that's brand new. It's been in 2 post office padded envelopes. There's a piece of cardboard around it. Here's why I think it's legitimate. By the way, they do make fake knockoffs of these now. My gosh, hopefully this is just my phone that's doing this shuddering. And that looks like to me. Maybe my Pixel needs a restart. Here's why I thought this was legit, though. Having worked at Best Buy, this and actually GameStop as well. PlayStation 3, yeah, that'll have been 360 era. So yeah, because I was there for Halo 3, 2006, 2008. So that's when I remember this from. Also a bit of Best Buy as well. But this is, some of you may know, that is the bag that this comes in stock with a new console from my memory, right? Person also had two of them, supposedly in sale like this. So my guess is they either got a box with a dead console or parted out a console or something. It looked like they were just selling random things they got. Like, I don't know if they bought storage units or something, but it was clothes. It was like everything. But this bag made me think that this guy was legit. And also, why would you have this bag if this isn't new? Because that would have come from a PlayStation. Anybody know how to tell? There's a little scuff there. You can see it on the end of the controller right there. Normally you see a bunch of wear on the triggers on the side there. Oh, this uses mini B, not even micro B. Okay, there's goober here. You see that on the 2 trigger? But well, there is some wear around the PlayStation logo. A little bit, you can see it. But those sticks look fresh. Yeah, look at that. That is brand fucking new plastic there. Look at that. So normally you get scrapes on the underside of this as well. Going round and round and round and round. Nothing. D-pad, that was great for fighters. If you're wondering what makes these older controller better, is when you hold it, it sits in your hand here like this. You don't choke up on it like an Xbox. You're like this, or not like 2 fingers, but like 1 finger. Like you really choke up on it, and you use your stick and press your buttons. With the PlayStation, you're like it's sitting back. You're casual. This just sits in your little 2 fingers down here like this. You just gotta hold it lightly. Also, you can more easily do double, and that's very important because PlayStation games have switched to like God of War, Kenna. This is light attack, that's strong attack. This is shield, and I forget what that is. In Kenna, I forget, it's something like that in PlayStation as well. Well, if we go to our Xbox, realistically, the bumper here is meant to roll your finger up and hit like this. That's how that's designed. You don't never go like this, really. While playing Kenna, you definitely want to do 2 finger, and that's just awkward on the Xbox controller. If you can see that there, yeah, it's just it's meant to be held choked up on it. These are wrapped around real tight here, and you're holding it. Buttons, stick. Your grip on your hand is different too. See how I'm thumb on top like this more, right? And this is something that people get wrong with the PlayStation controller. PlayStation controller, you don't hold it like this. You hold it like open-handed, flat, like this. Like you rest it in your hand, like this. See, not like choking it up and tight. The reason why, if you notice, it's flat on this side. Whereas if we look at our Xbox controller on the bottom, it's pointy, right? See, flat, pointy. So this one, you're meant to wrap your fingies around, right? Great for FPS. Mouse and keyboard are better, but you know, much better. Whereas this is meant for sitting like this. That's also why your sticks are not your main focus here is because a lot of these are this was designed for games prior to a stick. You kind of hold it like this. You just, you hold it flat in your hand. It kind of sits there, or you can wrap this guy around much easier. See how it's much easier to wrap your fingers around and hit both these at the same time? That is why I want a DualShock 3. And I wanted a new one, and they don't make new ones anymore. So I'm really hoping I'm going to get this thing plugged in and testing. Like, those sticks look brand new. Let me know if any of you see anything that stands out that would say that this isn't a brand new Sony DualShock 3 controller, because to me it looks like one. And that kind of big, like, this was pulled out of a console is my guess. That looks legit all on the bottom there. I'll have to find a micro B cable. I have one for my car, my reader for my car. My OBD2 reader uses mini B as well, so I'll have to go fish that out. I actually don't even have adapters. Like, do people even sell mini B to Type C adapters that work properly? I know even micro ones that properly pass through everything are fairly rare. And then you're like, oh yeah, if you like the PlayStation controller so much, why don't you just get a PS4 controller? Those work natively with Windows 10 and 11. And it's a PlayStation controller. Oh, you see I have one. Right here. Kind of a cool color too. However, this is worse. I mean, you guys can fight me, argue down in the comments if you want. But I'm going to argue that, I mean, this is cool because you can make the touchpad work and everything. Like, as a home theater controlling device, the PS, this one's dusty. You can see how much I use that. You know why I bought this, guys? Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Because you cannot play, you need a good D-pad for Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Once again, what does PlayStation controller prioritize? D-pad. Which is also important. Like, I'd prefer to play, what do you want to call it? JRPGs with this, because a lot of times you use the D-pad. This is only camera control. All the rest of your stuff is D-pad related. So it's just a different priority. Like, you didn't play. You see how it's still? Okay, I'm holding this like this holds like a Xbox controller, but less comfortably, because this finger's got to go here, and these wrap around. When you do that, you land on the trigger nicely, but you got to reach for the stick. Well, then I'd rather have an Xbox controller. Alright, say we go to the other hand. We do the same thing here. See, it wraps around like this. You hold like this. It's a little bit more natural in my right hand. You're mainly using these. But you still, a single finger. Going two finger on this, awkward. Because it doesn't have this flat to just rest your two fingers on. You have to grip it. So I think this got worse because they went more towards the Xbox controller. This one, it just sits in your hand. Yeah, you can't like grip it hard. You're not supposed to. So I would argue that this is the superior PlayStation controller, and this was the last good one. If they could move, like all the, the light bar, because you can use that in Steam and stuff like that, I think. This one's not bad, but having used this, you can see they kind of tried to pull a mid-ground on this, because it's flatter here than the Xbox One controller. Ooh, you can see where I'm disgusting. See, look, I'm disgusting. That's sweat from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Look it. So you can see how it's flatter than an Xbox controller. Very sharp on the Xbox One S and X controller, right? And then flat almost there. You can see how it's raised right in the middle. Still more flat, especially once you go in more, right? But the further out you get, the sharper it gets. Unlike here, where that is slightly rounded, but mostly flat. So it sits in your hand. Whereas this, you gotta start gripping, kind of like an Xbox. But you still have to reach for the thumbstick. So that's why you want to grip it, is to better use the thumbstick. So it's in this weird spot. then I think the PlayStation controller went too far. The PlayStation 5 controller went too far, and you might be like, yeah, it's better than the Xbox controller. And I don't believe so. But yeah, it's better, possibly better at being an Xbox controller. But people who play PlayStation want a PlayStation controller. That's at least a PlayStation controller. I mean, if you want to call me out for that, do it. Heck, send me a PS5 controller, lend me one or something, and I'll give it a shot. I still would argue this Dusty Boy here, that's the best controller. Xbox 360, baby. And actually, the original Xbox S controller, I would Duke as well. But that just feels so good. Because you have some of the flatness in here of the PlayStation, but then it goes to a point there, like the Xbox. So if you want to hold it a bit more, you see how dusty that guy is? We had our floors done. This is the ceiling, obviously. On the other side of that is the floor for the upstairs. So that you can see how much dust. A lot of random pieces of wood fell from the ceiling too, because staples came through and would just knock little chips of the chipboard out. You can see it up there. There you go. See the little shiny guys? I move you. Like right there. So those would little knock. They would knock. You can see when it's pushing out that chip, and all that would fall down, and all the stuff with it. So still working on the cleanup. Obviously, the triggers have gotten better since then. And there's also, like, that's the one S and X controller. There's also the Xbox One controller. I would say that's actually a nice improvement over the previous generation. I would still rather have this shape, though, personally. I think this is the better shape. I still have one that still works. I also have one of the controllers I used to use for Halo when it was allowed. Big stick. Look at that side to side travel. Huge. I think I used to call this guy like Uncle Big Sticks or something. And they glow. It was kind of cool. It's a Power A controller. It cost way too much money, but I got it open box at Best Buy. I like that one. Still works. Now, when I actually competed, when it was allowed, I used the Razor. This is the Sabre tooth. I have one or two of these in fully working condition. I think there might be a cleaner one up there. And I would go listen to that, like it just sticks. The original Onza, we would break on like almost, I would swear monthly. But this stick throw is so much better. I don't know if you see that. That stick throw is so much better than the Xbox One and then later One S and One X. That went to a taller stick that's skinnier, right? But less throw. I prefer, you saw with Uncle Big Sticks here. Yeah, see, I prefer the wider, shorter sticks, personally. So this whole transition, especially because there's less movement, side to side, like I noticed that right away, versus a stock Xbox 360 controller that I was so used to. One of the ones up there is the first Xbox One Razer controller. I never got the revised version, but on that one, some of these, they were adjustable, but on at least the first Xbox One Razer controller, I loved it because what they did is they just put Xbox 360 sticks on. I know a lot of people that bought them for that reason. Let's see what's in here. Oh, that's an Onza. That's my one that still kind of works. Do you see how it's cable tied there? That's because the cable, we ended up having to directly solder it. This should then be the Sabre Tooth, a brand new. The other one up here. This is what happens when they get grotesque. Like I wiped it down before lending it to somebody, but like, I don't know if you can hear, but like, that one barely clicks. These are sticking down. It was a better controller though, for sure. Here you go. There's a brand, not a brand new one, but one in good condition. I still keep this around. That stick throw is almost the same as the stock Xbox 360, which is perfect. Oh, you can see some of the wood there. And here is... Oh, I lost one of the triggers. The original Wildcat. So there was an updated version of this. I did not end up buying it because I was done playing on consoles by then. But this stick throw is... I don't like these toppers. They're like a hard plastic, whereas the other ones are much grippier. But that throw is almost like an Xbox 360. But they brought in the metal stick, so it's really smooth. Oh, we got King. Hey, King Arthur. Can you not pull my pants down while we're trying to talk? King wants attention, guys. But yeah, so if you're looking for like an Xbox 360 controller that's compatible with an Xbox One, look at the Wildcat. There are updated versions that are kind of in that same vein, but they bring the updated trigger that it's better, and this is way easier to roll up and hit. The trigger mechanism I felt was better than these just pop up. So I felt like that was different from, I like the paddles, I would say, better of the Elite controller. The downside of this though is that, at least at the time, Microsoft, you had to have an Elite controller if you wanted to reprogram buttons. And in the case of Halo, I think it was like Master Chief Collection and 5, in order to get the closest control setup to what I was used to in the older Halos, I had to swap X and like right bumper or something. Because X should be reload, in my opinion. Available. That should be reload, jump, melee, shoot, aim, etc. Also, this does have the trigger stop. Some people like that, some people don't. So, yeah. And then this was a big thing too. See how they integrated in the mic jack and the headphone thing? Back when this came out, you had to buy a module for the Xbox One. So the fact that it had the headphone jack integrated with all the buttons was huge. Later on, the headphone jack went to every Xbox One controller and looked very similar to how it is on the Xbox One S. Right like that. But that was the updated one that had Bluetooth. Hope you guys enjoyed a bit of my controller history. I do like to keep one or two of each one around here. I got Steam controller, also very dusty. This is a very interesting controller. I can see where it went to the Steam Deck. The issue with this is if you're spending the amount of time customizing this that you are, this is not a mainstream device. You have to put time in to get this usable, which made it not a thing for the average person. That's why I also don't think... so there needs to be, on the Steam Deck, like default control options. Otherwise, people aren't going to put the time in to actually make that usable. The one thing I do miss buying, and if any of you have a connection for a reasonable price, let me know. But I am looking for the PS1 Mini. I have a SNES Mini. The reason why I want a PS1 Mini is those just have a PS1 controller that's USB. That'd be so good for side scrollers and stuff like that. I know people that bought those because they're into fighters, and you don't want the analog sticks, and the PS1 controller is the go-to. but you couldn't get the OG, or if you could, it's very expensive. So I know people who bought those consoles up by the bundle just to get the controller. I didn't think about that at the time, so if anybody knows a connection, let me know. I'm going to go and charge up that DualShock 3 and see if it works. Let me know down below if you guys think that's legit, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. As always, have a good one. Peace.